on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield, live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards, and by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here are your hosts, Teddy Lehman, and the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
All right, here we go. Week 2, everybody. Welcome back to Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. It is time for Sooner Sports Talk. We're going to talk about a 51-3 win over Temple and a game coming up Saturday night against the Houston Cougars. And here to help me do that is the best color analyst in America. He also happens to be a Butkus Award winner, Teddy Lehman. Ladies and gentlemen,
appreciate that, T-Row. Appreciate that.
And this right here is the undefeated head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables. How you doing, Coach?
Good.
You're 1-0.
Good. Thank you.
You're 1-0. Welcome. Glad to have you here, sir. You've had a couple of days to sleep on it now. You formulated any more thoughts on how it went for you Friday night?
Yeah, it went. There was a lot of things to build on and be thankful for our players, everything that they put into getting prepared for the season. This was kind of our first step, and a good opportunity to get out there and see what we need to get better at. And there's plenty of those things in all three phases, but an opportunity for everybody to get off the field and go play somebody else. And so the guys were incredibly excited. Regardless of who the opponent was, you're just really excited to go and see how good this team can be and what we can become over the course of the next several weeks and months.
Well, defensively, really nice performance. Only gave up the 3 points. Started really fast. Forced a bunch of turnovers. Like, what did you see in week 1 that gives you some high hopes for the future?
Yeah, I thought I saw a defense that was well prepared. Played with really good fundamentals, aggressiveness, really very few busts at all. And we had some missed tackles. You see right there, over pursuing. They had some new stuff, and that'll happen every once in a while. You still just got to play with good fundamentals. Saw guys incrementally get better. There was a great shot of Grayson Halton. A year ago at this time, Kendall Doby was over on the sideline as a backup. And so you saw a whole bunch of guys. We had, I think, 13 guys making their first start on offense and defense, and Keltner at kicker. And so I saw depths of players get in the game and still play to a pretty high standard. And, again, believe it or not, week in and week out, there's not a whole lot that changes offensively, with schemes and whether it's the motions, the run plays, whether they're gap plays or zone plays, or all of the winded dressing that everybody in college football and the NFL is doing. There's lots of motion. There's more motion and shifting, changing the formation strength than there's ever been. And really, again, pleased that our guys handled those things well for the first game. Weren't necessarily challenged from a personnel standpoint with Temple. It's a little bit limited compared to some of the teams that we will play, but their schemes and what they're trying to do to manipulate you, those were good. So anyway, just really excited about where we're at and where we can go as a defensive unit. It's a hungry, driven, committed, passionate, tough group of guys. They like each other. They like to play. They like to practice. They like to compete.
You preach takeaways, I know, all spring, all fall. You come out and get 6 in the opener, lead the nation in that category right out of the blocks. It's got to make your heart happy.
Yeah, and so there's lots of different ways to look at it. Number one, that's, when we were undefeated last year, we led the nation in turnover margin, and in our 3 losses, we turned the ball over 12 times and lost the margin. And so, I think as the saying goes, there's not a more important stat in the game than forcing turnovers, and we got 34 points off of those 6 turnovers, and had a real short field for our offense, played really complimentary football, and even, regardless of who you're playing, some people, it was Temple. Well, man, there's a lot of people playing worse than that. A lot of FCS teams, you know, in that first weekend, and you don't see them getting 6 turnovers. So, and again, I'm not beating our chest, but at the same time, that's hard to do. And what I liked about it, it was more of our doing. We forced the turnovers. We hit people and jarred the ball loose, and we had some nice plays to pick the ball, and even, you know, Billy Bowman almost had another spectacular, interception as well. But
my favorite was Kenai Walker's, because Kendall Dolby didn't know he had it. He's over there with his head in his hands.
Your reason for liking it's different than ours. What we liked about it is we had it disguised, all week, that we were trying to get on that exact play versus that exact route. Yeah. And we executed the best on game day. And that doesn't always happen, so that was fun. There's Jaden Hardy, a true freshman. Really like our young safeties. He and Reggie Powers and Mike Boganowski, really excited about those guys, but he's in a nice position. I'm glad he picked it off. There was a tight end smoking right down the middle of the field, Scott, wide open. And sometimes that happens too. Yeah. That's all part of the game too.
You mentioned those young guys. That's what I was going to ask you about, the true freshmen. Jaden Jackson obviously, got the start, played fantastic. You had Tatum on offense, just sprinkled throughout. Young guys, true freshmen, going out there and playing, good football, not just mop-up duty, coming in real moments and doing some real good stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. I just walked off the practice field, and Zion Raggins, man, he caught the most beautiful one-handed catch over the shoulder. Just a beautiful ball. By Jackson, and thinking of another freshman that he was a little bit gimpy last week, but we're going to get him involved as well. But we've got good depth of young players that are good enough, mature enough, ready enough to play a role, and those guys played really well. Tatum, limited reps, just showed one thing, that guy's different. Mm-hmm. His explosiveness, his instincts, his ability to get the full speed. He's a load. He's fell down, let the turf monster get him on one of them. And then, Jaden Jackson was just fantastic. He won, I believe, the competitive strain award. They continued to try to screen us. We're a very aggressive defense, so that one of their strategies was to try to screen us, and the best way you can play screens is the defensive line. Instead of running up the field when nobody's blocking you, is to be able to retrace your steps, have the discipline to do that, because they're like, oh, the quarterback's right here, I can go get him.
And he's coming on a stunt too.
Yeah.
Right? So he's really turning that corner.
So when those linemen take off, he's able to put the brakes on and go chase him, and he did that several times, which is not an easy thing to do for anybody, let alone a true freshman. Most of the freshmen will keep running up the field. So really excited about the depths of freshmen, and I really like our young corners, Devon Jordan and Jeremiah Newcomb, as well as those safeties. And then, we've got James Nesta at linebacker, and the main one is, you got David Stone and Jaden Jackson inside.
Opening segment brought to you by Noble McIntyre Law, the law firm you should turn to for all your personal injury needs. I mean, the really bad news that came out of Friday night was Jalil Farouk makes that great catch to start the game, and then has a broken foot. He's going to be out for a while. That's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, you hate that for anybody that's invested so much and going into his, his senior year. That's just he's been the best version of himself in regards to his leadership and just overall accountability, and just had an excellent out of season. So, the good thing for him is he'll be back, and that's not going to affect him long term. And so it could have been a lot worse. And for us, it just gives another opportunity. It's not just man up, but we do feel that we still have that's a good position to choose from when it comes to replacing him.
Do you think Nick could be back this week, or are we still wait and see?
We're hoping. Okay. There's a chance he'll be back this week.
Okay. One more.
Some of the young guys that you feel like may have a chance to step into those voids at wide receiver.
Yeah. So I mentioned Zion Reagans and Zion Kearney and Ivan Carrion. Jacquez Petaway as well. Jacob Jordan would get maybe a little bit more of the slot work in there. You know, Burks can go inside and outside both. And, you know, I think I probably named most of them. And again, KJ Daniels, another young freshman as well. That's he's out there repping as well.
How did Andrell respond to his first action?
Yeah, it's good. You know, just to get him back, it's really good for the confidence. And again, anybody that's ever come off an ACL injury, that's never easy. Yes. And there's, you know, they give you based on, you know, all the imaging and whatnot, but you've seen guys come back in 4 months, you've seen them come back in 6 months, and then sometimes it takes them a little over a year to gain their confidence and their explosiveness, things of that nature. But that was an important step for him, and expect him just to get more and more ready. You know, and of course he's released, and you know, we don't have any limits on him, but to get back to his old form, you know, I don't think we're that far away.
All right, we'll take an opening timeout. 6:45 Saturday night. It'll be the Sooners and the Houston Cougars. We'll get Coach Venable's thoughts on Willie Fritz's team a little bit later in the show. Stay with us.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bob Moore Ford is proud to honor service members through the Patriot of the Game. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Junior Kids Club, presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Orthodontics exclusively, Mathis Home, and Devon Energy.
Welcome back, Sooner Sports Talk. This segment brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Ted?
How'd you think your quarterback played?
Really good. Loved how Jackson managed the game and decisions that he made. You know, running it, throwing it. Started things off with a, you know, really nice deep ball to Farouk. Really put it on the money. Stepped up in the pocket, took a shot, and he follows it up with a little pop pass. I think was that right there. The little. We had a little drain concept on a boot play. Really, he does a great job of throwing on the run, keeping his eyes down the field. Here, another play action, hits the seam ball there, puts the defensive backs, linebackers in conflict. And again, got the ball out on time. You know, certainly wasn't perfect, but again, in his making his home debut, first start, thought he did a lot of stuff that was really good, and some easy things for him to learn from as well. Some of decisions, and you know, I think later we settled for a field goal. We ran a little mesh route underneath, and he misses the guy coming back in front of him. And but those are things that you know, all young quarterbacks they'll learn from. But just really, he's just in command. He was confident. Did a great job leading. His communication was really good, and again, he showed that he can, you know, hurt you with his legs.
The iPads on the sidelines, how did that all play out for you? You're laughing.
I'm laughing, just, you know, player's worst nightmare. Oh, what was that? What'd you say? You know, so, you know, I came under the block, Coach. You know, what's that?
So you used to be able to buy yourself 24 hours or so.
You know, take a little bit of heat off. So now, you know, and then you can, you know, make it big, you know, really, do that.
Really zoom in.
Is this you? Right?
Right here. And I just knew it wasn't going to take very long for you wanting to go. You see something maybe on the iPad that maybe the official didn't see correctly. You know, that is a 15-yard penalty. So you can't come out there and say, see.
Really?
Like everybody wants to, you know. It's like, what are we doing? But no, but they're very efficient. You know, I think what you got to be careful is like anything. More isn't always better. And I myself, if somebody said, would you vote for everybody to have them or not have them? I would say no, because I like figuring stuff out and seeing it on the field, and I think that can be an advantage. Some people can't see it.
Exactly
That's
what
what
Teddy
I said.
said.
I don't like it because I think it robs like
there
the,
can be a competitive advantage if you can see it. How fast can you identify
can the players
issue?
come bring you the issues and work it out?
We had a really good system to identify. We literally we had guys drawing up the play, and they practice it year-round. They're drawing up the exact play, the hash, the motion, the blocking scheme. And so we got the whole game. At halftime, we got the game, or in between series, we got the game. I can go, okay, here was play 1. Okay, here was play 2. Here was play 3. And this is the one we messed up on. And so you keep those to the side. You go back over them. We got a overhead in the locker room that you got a big screen, and you can slide the card, and like, here it is again. And most people don't do that. And so now you got the iPads, and so it's kind of all equal.
They took away your advantage.
We feel like, but it's all good, It still comes down to the players out there executing and being physical and
What's
all that.
the system with the iPad? Who's putting all that together? Is it simply a television copy or somebody in the back?
It's not television copy. It's certainly monitored by the conference, but everybody gets the exact same picture. And so there's like 2 views, and that's all you get. And so it just happens in real time, So everybody, both sidelines, gets the exact same thing. And did I answer your question?
Yeah, I didn't know if somebody was like, because I know when you're watching film on the plane after the game, you've got GAs or whoever it is that's dicing. Now, here's the offensive plays. Here's the third downs. So I didn't know if it was just a straight feed and you're fast forwarding and rewinding, or if somebody's dicing all that up for you guys in the back.
Yeah, you can't make cut-ups. You're not allowed to make cut-ups, but you can click, and then you know which plays to go back and review.
Oh, so at halftime you still have access? You can watch video at halftime too?
Yeah, so, there was initial talk was nothing in the locker room at halftime. Then it was just like, somebody's going to cheat, So now you got, like, who's going to monitor everybody? And then it was, well, only certain people, only the full-time coaches can look at the iPads. And then it's like, who's going to go give the coaches while he's out there coaching? Who's going to go hand him the iPad? Somebody's got to deliver it. And you got these new technology, and then you have a new set of all these rules behind them, and it was just going to have this paralyzing effect. And so
I'm shocked they jumped that, because the NFL, they've always had the printouts.
Just the still pictures.
Still pictures, which, it's nice to have too, but like they just full send right all the way into video.
Yeah. So, it's like I said, we've used the cards in the past, and it's been good. I like it. And so this is a little more efficient, but it can't be a distraction.
You said after the game, Zach called all the defense.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time you went through an entire game and didn't call defensive play?
I'm giving like suggestions.
Okay.
And I'm telling them, hey, here's what's going to happen. I'm like,
okay.
They called that screen because they knew, 1st and 10 after a conversion within the drive, they just got a first down, that you're probably going to be aggressive, and that call was actually a good call, and stuff like that. So it's just constantly we're talking, all the tendencies and thought process, and how we're trying to set things up for the season and things like that. So the staff does a really good job of really working together during the course of the week and having really good collaboration. And so game day isn't like us trying to figure each other out. We really do. We sit in there. I got a little small desk in the defensive staff room, with my own little computer and a monitor, and I got my cards and all my markers. And so, I get, okay, hey, put these cards in the script today, and feel like I'm doing something. And so that's fun.
That's good.
But we do. There's lots of. We're talking. The screen's up. Everybody's got their monitors, and we're putting together the game plan. And but we're just kind of adding to it. You're not really.
What's your role in that? Like whenever you're in the offensive room, is it kind of similar?
It's listening and giving a defensive perspective and what's hard and what is challenging and what conflicts you, and I study offenses more than I study defense. I know defense, but I study offense. I study quarterback mannerisms. I study offensive linemen, and so it's an additional. I try to stay in my lane, if you will, but I think it's well received. I'm the head coach, so they have to listen, and act like they're listening.
You can drive in any lane you want when you're the head coach.
Every once in a while, I'll say, look at this one right here, my chicken scratch. But, I love football. I love the strategy of the game. I just love it. I love watching other people play. I love watching, schemes match up to each other. And then you usually have a level of anticipation like, oh, man, that's not going to be good. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it's like, pow, So, that's really it's what it is. It's just listening and watching, and then I get to watch the offense and then get to go to the offensive meetings here and there, and then or in the team meetings or after practice and talk to the offensive players about what I see, what's going to be really important this week, and what they didn't do well last week, and hey, we're counting on you. You got to make those layups, and try to reinforce all the things that they're talking about. Just as a total football team. But I've spent a lot of time the last 12 months, in offensive rooms and just listening and again reinforcing and giving a defensive perspective.
All right, quick break. We're talking to Brent Venables here on Sooner Sports Talk at Rudy's. We got more coming up. Stay with us.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Norman Hyundai, your premier Hyundai dealership for new and used cars. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. New episodes drop every day. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. Presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino. Orthodontics Exclusively is a proud sponsor of the Junior Captain of the Game. Junior Captain is the ultimate fan experience for children 6 to 12.
Norman, Oklahoma. Coach Bud Wilkinson Sooners were polishing up their Big 7 championship crown of 51 as the 52 season opened. Bud Wilkinson had an array of glittering Sooners. Speedy left half Billy Vessels was awarded the Heisman Trophy.
It was awful early in the football season before even a game to find out how the OU football team looks. But what is the outlook this season?
Our team has worked very hard in practice, and we're simply waiting for the game to find out what kind of a team we're going to have.
Going to be great Saturday night. The Sooners wearing the new alternates, the throwback to the Bud Wilkinson era jerseys. Please tell me you're wearing the T-shirt. You're coaching in the T-shirt Saturday night?
I really haven't gotten that far. I was just in Monday. I'm just focused on Monday practice.
It's such a good look, yeah.
What are you wearing to the game? Have you decided?
I haven't, but it's less important for me than it is for you. And you look great. You look great in the Bud Wilkinson T-shirt, so you should think about that. See, the people want to see it. You got to wear a whistle too. Yeah. You got to wear a whistle.
Hey, how about if I just started laying into the whistle in the middle of the game? How do you think the officials would?
They
didn't like me on the field. They would definitely not like me blowing the whistle.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't like that. This segment brought to you by the Riverwind Casino. Riverwind Casino, good times. Great rewards. These uniforms are a lot like the ones you wore back in 2003. In fact, I think we might have a little Teddy Lehman video from.
Look at that!
He played good.
Stuff.
I remember this well. North Texas.
North Texas. Fun in the rain.
August 30th, 2003.
So throwback.
Look at Tommy Harris.
No pass coverage responsibility. Just scrape to the quarterback.
That guy's not allowed to catch the football. So yeah.
Golly.
Those are good-looking unis right there.
The black shoes are critical.
I know.
The black shoes are critical.
Are we going black shoes?
I don't know. Are we like against black shoes now?
You're the head coach. Again, I'm going to defer to you on that. But
well, I remember after this game, Coach Stoops said, I like the black shoes. We're just going to wear those the rest of the season.
I like black shoes.
Look good.
You look faster in white shoes.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
But the black shoes look tough.
They do.
They're just tough.
Yeah, looks good. Okay, on the list of things you'd like to do better, I would imagine third downs is on that list. Not a great night third down wise. Is that just happenstance, or is there a thing you can do to improve that there?
No, it's a lot of things, and it's a lot of different positions, to be more efficient. So definitely got to clean up a lot of things there on third downs. And then some of them were by design. You're in your pass midfield, and you're in the analytics third down. So you're not, if it's 3rd and 7, you're not necessarily running a pass route to the sticks. You might be a run. That you're hoping to get to a manageable 4th down. So those are the analytics, and so sometimes that's part of that. We did convert 3 4th downs as well, but we got to be a lot better in both fundamentals and decisions and getting the signal and the protection and the decision making, all of it.
You came into the game a little banged up on the offensive line, had to move some guys around, and then Hickman goes down, force you have to even go a little bit deeper there. What's the status of the offensive line, and how do you think they manage that situation?
Yeah, Jake Taylor will be back, and Hickman looked good today. I don't know if he'll be back this week yet or not, but he actually looked remarkably good today. So. And I thought, again, it was there was some that was good. We averaged, not including, I think we had the 3 sacks, and it's not all on the offensive line when that happens, contrary to popular belief. Sometimes it's the quarterback, sometimes it's the back, and but without those 3 sacks, we averaged over 7 yards a carry. And if you look at the analytics of it, 75% of our rushing attempts were actually efficient in the PFF, where you get either a win or a loss, and so that's 4 yards or more in the 75% of them, and 25% were explosive runs, 10 yards or more. So it was actually pretty efficient, and then we got to a lot of short yardage situations. So your numbers, it was an efficient run, but it only gained 2, but it was 4th and 1, or it was 3rd and 1, and so. It was actually a pretty efficient day, but we left a lot of meat on the bone. When it's all said and done, we left a lot of meat on the bone. We easily could have run for over 300 yards. Just got to clean up some basic things. And to finish some blocks, we let a few guys. We had a counter play early in the game that our tackles got to block the backside linebacker 100% of the time. That backside linebacker should never make the tackle, and he did. And so we just misread that, and then we had a couple times blocking down on the defensive end, with our tight ends that we let some guys cross face. That can't happen. We got great leverage on them. We got to finish them off, and not let them cross face on us, and that'll help clean up some things. But you see, Sam Franklin, he had a really explosive run. He led us through the spring and fall camp in explosive runs. And here you see Taylor Tatum, that play there, you literally don't have to block anybody up front. Your blocks are happening on the perimeter on that play, on one of those.
He looks good. He looks bigger than I thought.
Yeah, he's broad and he's explosive and runs through trash. Sam Franklin does a nice job of pressing the A gap and then bouncing it back outside once they committed. And they got a nice little option read. They probably maybe 6 or 7 runs where they sold out. And what we call a 0 look, and we did a nice job on that one there, recognizing it and getting it out on the perimeter where they're outnumbered for a touchdown right there.
You had the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week this week, Tyler Keltner.
Well,
3 for 3.
For 1 week, we got a little better in the kicking game. We thought we would, right? Then we've been talking about that, so you only got one way to go, but we needed to be a lot better, and so that was great. He made 3 kicks, one a 50-yarder, and it's been a long time, I think several years since we've made one of those, and so that was really good. He had a couple others on extra points that the ball was incredibly wet for whatever reason, so we got to get that fixed, but had a hard time. Keltner had a lot of poise, stopped and kind of like just drop kicked it. Pretty much, and got him through. Was 6 of 6 on his extra points, and then, our kick, we had the one squib kick, but other than that, we really did a nice job on our kickoffs. Zach did as well, but so.
And you got the fumble return.
And
on the punt.
Yeah, on the punt. Yeah. So and Elzinga had a really nice night. He averaged just under right there, about 50 yards a punt as well. And then the guys did a great job. Lewis Carter punches the ball loose, and Canick does a really good job. You know, the play, really what happened on that play was Jacoby Johnson, who was the fastest guy on the field per our analytics, right around 21.5 miles an hour, had the fastest catapult reading for the day. But he cuts across. We told him to take your shot on that punt returner. And so he does it. He did not make the tackle, but that's okay. Make the guy stop from going north and south and make a hard cut, and that's what we wanted. And then Lewis does a nice job of knifing through, popping the ball loose, and then Jaron Canick does a really good job. So take your shot, make him reverse the field, and he pops the ball loose, and Canick does what all guys from Kansas do. You just make plays. That's what we do. And make him hard right hand turn, and auto mechanic right here scoops it up, and see how athletic we are from Kansas.
Look at
it's
that.
a Kansas thing.
Just a natural
Western Kansas thing. So natural, no, but great job by Jaron there and going in there and scoring. So really good job. You saw we had the also special teams play was our quarterback executed the punt there. So on 3rd and 3, we were going to go for it on 4th down, but we lost 2 yards. So now we decided we were going to punt. And on 4th and 5 or 4th and 6 there, and then he punted it inside the 5. The defense forces the turnover, then the offense turns right around and punches it in. So really good complementary football. So this is a really good sequence here, and so we practice this, every week, and they do a good job there. Now we got them pinned, and so then I think on the 3rd play there, on the 3rd offensive play for Temple, we forced the ball loose, knocked it loose, and recovered it, and then the offense scores on a little sprint out pass to Deion Burks for his 3rd touchdown just before the half. So really good job. That's the middle 8, the last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half. That's a really important time to kind of create momentum going into the locker room, create momentum coming out of the locker room. Don't let them score. Find a way to put the ball through the uprights or the end zone, and we won the middle 8, 7-0. Pretty uneventful, but it's a W.
One more segment with Brent Venables. We're talking Houston next here at Rudy. Stay with us.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. OU's 2024 football games are available on Exodus 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show. Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers. See your Oklahoma Buick GMC dealer.
We're having a good time. We're at Rudy's. 4th segment brought to you by Pike Pass. Make it home safe, Oklahoma. Brent Venables' final segment with Teddy and I. All right, let's talk about Houston. The Cougars coming to town. 6:45 on Saturday night. Coach is going to wear the Bud Wilkinson T-shirt. We've established that here tonight. What do you think about Houston?
Yeah, again, first of all, I just would say, our staff, we got the utmost respect for Willie Fritz and their staff. He's a program builder everywhere he's been. He's a winner. Really smart football coach. Puts their players in a great position to be successful.
Kansas high school product.
Kansas High School. Which high school is he from?
Shawnee Mission.
Shawnee Mission.
Yeah.
My wife went to Shawnee Mission South.
How about that?
Yeah. So must be another Kansas
Could
thing.
be. Could
Not
be.
a Fort Gibson thing, a Kansas thing.
I don't know.
And but they did, they were here while he was at Tulane just a few years ago, and I can't remember why I was watching. During the day, if maybe Clemson wasn't playing, but I was watching, and they kept running that little crossing route. They ran it 6,000 different ways out of all these different formation and personnel groups, and kept the game really close all the way to the end. But that's what they've done, and they'll quickly have that program, turned around in a great way. They're at Houston. They've got some really good players. I think they have 65-ish new players on their roster. And, the little bit that we've been able to start looking at them, I really was impressed with their defense, how they, ran to the ball, held up at the line of scrimmage. I know they lost the game, but if you look at the game between the game and they possessed the ball, UNLV possessed the ball and did a really nice job of just kind of playing a buttoned-up game. They got a small lead, and they held on to it and didn't really expose themselves. But Houston ran to the ball well, hit well. I thought they had good speed, length, physicality on defense. And then, on offense, they had a hard time getting into a rhythm. But they're, the quarterback, Smith, is a really, really good player. Was a transfer from Tech, and then just watching him sling the ball around, super talented. Their backup, their second and third string are also big, long, athletic quarterbacks. Can throw on the run and throw the ball a country mile. They got great receivers, really big tight ends. They'll play in multiple personnel groups, but they got a really big tight end, 6'6", 260 pounds. They got from Michigan State, and they got guys up front from Texas A&M and from UCLA, and I think Louisiana Monroe, and some really good backs. Their return players on the special teams are home run hitters. They got a guy from Georgia, and Willie's known for a lot of things, but one of the things he's always done a great job is their special teams are incredibly well coached, and particularly their kickoff return and their punt return. So it's going to be a really good challenge for us.
Smith, the quarterback, he's huge. He's like 6'6", 245. Mm-hmm. And he runs the ball a lot. How much do you change on defense when you see a quarterback like that? Or do you just let the rules of what you have kind of take care of it?
We try to be like you do, the latter. If it's a true option football team, we've got packages for that. But this is a pro style that'll mix in some quarterback, run game. And, they're going to move the pocket, and they're going to huddle up, and they'll have some ways to tempo you and things of that nature, but they're also going to be really efficient and try to, shorten the game and get it into the fourth quarter and keep it within a score and see what, if they can have a chance to win, late in the game.
The Rudy's question tonight, Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue, Country Store and Barbecue, comes from Toby in Piedmont. He wants to know on the Jaden Hardy interception in the fourth quarter. Taylor Wine just ran around hitting everybody he could find after the pick. He got 2 personal fouls on that. Did you light him up, or did you high-five him afterwards?
So it was when we have a hit tape on a Monday after a win. We have a kind of a highlight tape that the video guys and all the fun stuff that they can do. And one of them was, I think it was Bart Simpson. You all remember the Simpsons? Well, he's got a shotgun. And he's waiting at the door for his kid to come back, and Martha, the wife, is like, honey, calm down. I'm just going to talk to him. He's holding a shotgun. And so it's and so on the picture is Coach Chavis. He's holding the shotgun, or on the head is Coach Chavis's face. And sure enough, he's like, I'm just going to talk to him. And she's like, oh, and so then the kid shows up, and it's like, and so the players had a fun time with that. Uh-huh. And that's about as hostile as it got. But,
okay.
We kept it pretty good.
What's the rule on that? Because the quarterback was kind of in the play. Like, what's the rule on that?
They might have missed that. They might have thought that the whistle – I don't think
show
the whistle –
on the iPad? That's it.
No, we didn't show him. But I think Taylor actually was within – he was in line. You got to be careful about how hard they're just going to protect the quarterbacks. Yeah. This league, this conference, the SEC is going to go out of their way to protect the quarterbacks. It's the most high-profile league with a lot of really high-profile quarterbacks, and they know that it can be, detrimental to a football team's season if they lose the quarterback. See, really, the whistle had not blown yet, and so the reality is.
I love that when he's like, what?
Yeah, no, we were out of bounds on the second one, but you got to kind of like it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I said that
Friday night.
You got to kind of like, hey, All right. Nice job.
It's
All right.
51-3. Come on now. Yeah, that was pretty good. Well, Coach, good luck against Houston. We can't wait to see your team in action again, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us tonight. We appreciate
you all.
Brent Venables,
appreciate
everybody. Stay with us. Teddy and I, one more segment to wrap it up next.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
All right, wrapping things up here at Rudy's final segment, brought to you by your Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers. What caught your ear from what Coach had to say tonight?
Well, it sounds to me like they've got a lot of young wide receivers kind of right there loaded and ready to go. He went through a big, long list of those guys. Now, are we going to see any of them? I don't know, but they feel like they've got a good amount of talent at the wide receiver spot, even if it's younger, inexperienced guys, because, we did just – I don't know how, but found ourselves really thin at wide receiver whenever it looked like that would be impossible not very long ago.
And good to hear that Jake Taylor's back this week, and maybe Branson Hickman's okay, so maybe a little offensive line positivity. All right, bold predictions, hot takes, final segment. In the first show, by the way, last week, the tandem of Josh and Caleb Kelly are the only ones that got their prediction right, so they've got the early lead in this thing. Gabe predicted that Bauer Sharp would have 100-plus yards receiving this week. Caleb Kelly predicted that there would be 2 passing touchdowns of 40 or more yards from Jackson Arnold.
Okay.
So they're both going kind of Jackson Arnold passing game, and I am too. Jackson was good, but he only threw for like 144 yards. I'm going to say he has 350-plus yards passing in this game. It's going to be a big answer back by JFA. Your bold prediction?
I'm going to say Deion Burks has 3 more touchdowns.
3 more?
3 more touchdowns. He may even have one on the ground. Who knows?
All right, that counts.
Yeah.
We'll count it. Very good. We'll be on the air with you on Sooner Radio at 3:30 live from the party at the Palace on Saturday afternoon. We hope to see you there. Kickoff just after 6:45 for Game 2 of the year. It'll be OU and Houston Saturday night at the Palace. See you there, folks. Boomer Sooner.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.